what a delight to be talking to you about something other than Harry and Meghan, and Kate and William and all the rest of it. I mean, this is a very odd story. I'm not even sure if it's true. What are people saying about it over there?
I'd like to clarify a few things. Number one, I did not have talking about a royal rebel orgy with Mike Graham on my 2024 bingo card. Number two, I am not an orgy expert, but I love talking about the royals. So that's what I'm here to do today. And this is, of course, in her new book, Rebel Rising, which has caused so much controversy. I just realized today that Sacha Baron Cohen, who has so much power that her book was postponed in both Australia, it was postponed until the beginning of next month. UK, it was postponed until I don't know when. And he actually had the portion about him completely removed from the UK. So that's how salacious this book has become. And she says that, that this is somebody kind of on the fringe of the royal family, 15th to 20th in line. People are, of course, shocked. It's on the cover of TMZ, page 6. All of the big, entertainment news outlets. People love this story.
They do. But, of course, it's one of those guessing games that you can never really get right. And, I mean, we would not be in any position whatsoever to ever cast aspersions of any kind on anyone in particular. But we can tell you who it's probably not, I suppose. It's probably not Prince Andrew, because it's too far removed from him. It's not Prince Harry, too far removed from him. It may well be one of many less plumed people, shall we say, who have been 15th or 20th or even 40th to the throne. But speculation, I suppose, doesn't matter at this point, because if you're not naming anybody, you don't have to worry.
Right. Well, legally, she's probably in the clear. You're absolutely right. Now, Rebel does have a history with Prince Harry. She showed up at one of his polo events in Santa Barbara, and there was a really glowing exchange between the two of them. And it was kind of when the Sussexes were in a lull. I mean, when are they not? But it was kind of when the Sussexes needed some Hollywood sparkle. They needed some support from Hollywood. So it was great that she showed up. But months later, she actually told Bravo's Andy Cohen that Meghan was ugly to her. And Meghan was not nice to her when she asked about the children. So we know she does have a relationship / history with Prince Harry. It seems like she gets along well with Prince Harry, but not necessarily Meghan. But will royals distance themselves from Rebel going forward? Probably yes.
Well, we've had situations like this in the past, which have been a bit more serious, actually, where television individuals, television personalities have been in the frame for something that might have happened. You might remember going back to the Hugh Edwards story with the BBC. There were an awful lot of BBC stars who ended up having to come out and say, sorry, it's not me. That this person is being talked about. You know, I don't suspect the royals will do that. But Peter Phillips is an interesting one. He comes in at number 18. He's known to quite like parties. I'm not suggesting for a minute that it's him. I'm just saying that, you know, when you look between 15 and 20, there's not much there, really. I mean, Princess Anne is there. You've got the Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor. I don't think it's probably her. You've got people like the Duke of Edinburgh when he was still alive. Back then, he would have been 14th in line to the throne. You know, there's no name really that sort of jumps out at you. Freddie Windsor's another name that a lot of people have mentioned, but he's way down the list at sort of 40th or something. But he was known to be a bit of a party boy as well.
What we're doing right now is what the internet's doing. And I mean, people are going to come to their own conclusions and they're going to be convinced that it's somebody specific. But you are right. I do think that it's part of their strength, part of their weakness. Never complain, never explain. It will be in their best interest not to engage in this story and make it even bigger. They're hoping it'll go away, and they're hoping that people will just move on to the next scandal.
Yes. It's got a kind of pantomime feel to it a little bit as well, because, as you say, you're not an expert in orgies, neither am I. But apparently, according to her memoir, it was a tech billionaire's party which had a theme of medieval clothing. She decided to get dressed up in a buxom damsel outfit, complete with a cone hat. Men were jousting on horses in a field, girls dressed as mermaids in a pool. I mean, I've never been invited to any parties like that. Sorry.
And I actually feel like such a loser after reading that paragraph. Like, honestly, what am I doing with my life? But we should stress that she did not partake in said orgy. She was still a virgin at the time and decided that that just wasn't the way she was willing to lose it. And you know what? I give her a high five for that, because that sounds like the worst story ever.
Yes. But, I mean, it does, I suppose, give you a bit of an insight into how Hollywood was still like that Or certainly California was still like that in those days. It may not be anymore, maybe it still is. But, you know, these are the days of the Playboy Mansion and Hugh Hefner parties and all sorts of other stuff.
Before Me Too. I think that's a great point. This is
Yeah.
before everything kind of changed and everyone now walks on eggshells and is so concerned about the way they behave. And I mean, what's crazy is these things are coming back to haunt people years later.
Exactly.